No, I'll start. I'd like to start by congratulating Brisbane. Obviously a thoroughly deserved victory. They did it the hard way, and when you lose the first final and then need to come back to Melbourne 2 weeks in a row, and when you get the job done, you absolutely deserve it. So full credit to them. It's obviously difficult for us right at the moment, but I think in the fullness of time, when you sort of sit back and you think about the quality of team that beat us in this grand final, it might ease the pain a little bit. And I'd probably also just like to speak briefly about how proud we are of our players and our club this season. Without going into detail, and I won't go into detail, there are a lot of things known and unknown that were really challenging for us this year. And to be perfectly frank, there were times where it just seemed unlikely that we would be able to overcome those obstacles to give ourselves a chance today. So because of that, but even without those things, I'd still be really proud of in the way our club and our players in particular just keep fronting up. So the game itself today, like even the first half, we went in scores level, but it just didn't feel like we were able to play the way we had in the last couple of months. Again, which is a bit of pill to swallow, because I think we'd shown that our best footy was going to challenge anyone. And in some ways, looking at the form teams through the final series, even going into the final series, it sort of seemed to us that Brisbane and Hawthorn were two of those, and we got over those two and just couldn't get it done today. And again, there were things within the game that went against us, but that's not just footy, that's life.
You just mentioned there's a few unspoken challenges throughout the year. Do you care to extrapolate on what they were now that the season's done?
No. I was specific when I said that I wouldn't talk about them. But I think it's sort of the game you're in. You can speculate, and I'm not going to get sucked into responding to some of those things. There are the really obvious ones. You never lose a grand final, I don't think. Especially the way they dominated that patch late in the third quarter and obviously early in the fourth. And think, one play would have made a difference, but I think Stewart would have made a difference. But that is one of. I'm talking about a number of things, like 10, 12 things, some more impactful than others. But I only bring it up to say that, to highlight just how proud we are of the resilience of our group. Even there's some on-field things, like it was a challenge for us today that we couldn't quite step up to, but we were still confident because we have had lots of periods within games this year where it hasn't been going our way, but we found a way to prevail. And unfortunately, today just wasn't one of those days.
Just had the group behind closed doors for a few minutes. Do you be able to shed some light on the main message to the players as they finish their season? No,
that's private. I think understand the interest. It's not. I don't think it. I guess I rarely speak to the players post game, and generally, it's because I like to collect my thoughts and give a really informed position. But it's not that different to what I've already said here. We're all disappointed, but if I'm being brutally honest, it was just to give them a bit of time to themselves.
One of those challenges, Chris, no doubt, was Jeremy Cameron's injury today. How serious was it, and how brave, I guess, was he to keep playing and see out the game?
Obviously brave, but there'll be other players, and I'm sure it will come out in the fullness of time from both teams that were a little bit sore. The challenge we had is that, I'll say one thing, I hope this doesn't sound like sour grapes. I think we all, and I'm at the head of the queue, will be rapt to see the back of the sub-rule. Because that was really, besides the seriousness of the injury, the challenges there make planning difficult, and it feels like a bit of deja vu in a respect that we were sort of waiting and didn't feel like we could make that sub until we had some clarity there. But yeah, obviously yes. Have we given any feedback yet, Mac, to that?
Yeah, potentially it will be. Is this on Jeremy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's like in the heat of the moment, it's hard to work out. Is it a crack? Is it a decent break? Can he play? Can't he? And that took a long time to work out. But obviously, yeah, he was heavily limited from late in that second quarter.
So it could be fractured forearm. Is that what?
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. We don't know the full thing, but there's a big chance of
Yeah. But again, to emphasise, it's one of those things where I don't think you have any choice but to submit yourself to your medical team and just give them the space to do what they need to do.
The game was so tightly balanced late in the third quarter on the scoreboard. What do you feel changed in that period of time?
Oh, we had that challenge with trying to work out whether we. The obvious risk there is that if we were to sub someone and then had to sub Cameron, that would be really limited from there. But they, in a real arm wrestle, they just got a couple of goals late, and we didn't quite set the ground up the way we would have liked. That gave them those opportunities. But again, scores were level at half time, pretty even, probably level close enough to halfway through the third quarter. But it was rare that we thought the game was actually going the way we wanted, and there were various reasons for that. So yeah, I'll be thinking about them at 3 a.m. often over the next couple of months. But I tend not to give you a detailed explanation of the tactical stuff anyway, whether it's round 4 or a grand final. So I'll leave it to you guys to work through.
We obviously got some exceptional young players in the competition at the moment. Where does sort of Will Ashcroft sort of, in your mind, sit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to be biased, but I am, because I love Will, known him his whole life. And yeah, we are and have been for a long time full of admiration for the way Brisbane have harnessed the young talent that they've been able to recruit and develop. So it's, again, we thought we went in really good shape. To give ourselves this opportunity takes a lot of hard work, and Stuart obviously hurt. But Hipwood and the issues they overcame, they thoroughly deserve their victory. And yeah, it is possible to be bitterly disappointed, even more than that for us, but still at the same time, be proud of Will and Levi and the Lions in particular. That's probably a good way to finish, I reckon. Thanks very much.